2.0 brought a lot of great changes to the attributes and perks in 7 Days to Die. I won't cover everything, but I'll try to hit the highlights. First off, let's start with Perception. On the left side, we got the 1.0 perks, and on the right, the 2.0. Lucky Looter has been removed from Perception and is now in a General Perks tab. On the 2.0 side, you'll see 4 perks that are highlighted in yellow. These are carryover 1.0 perks that previously had less than 5 levels, which have all been updated to have 5 levels now. This will be a common theme that you see in all the 2.0 perks, that they'll all have 5 levels with the exception of the General tab. For some of the perks, it feels like their value was watered down because they got spread from say 3 to 5 levels, but for other ones, they added in some nice new benefits for that 4th and 5th level. Moving on, in each of the attributes, you're going to have a mastery. So for Perception Mastery, you're going to have 5 brand new perks. To get access to these, you're going to have level 6 in that attribute to get level 1 of the mastery, 7 to get 2, 8 to get 3, 9 to get 4, and then 10 to get 5. It takes dedication to the attribute, but the payoff is huge. You can see here for Perception, the first 2 levels gives you additional harvesting capabilities, but then we get into combat with spear and rifle primary attacks causing bleed, additional spear power attack when sprinting, and then finally the pinnacle one here, plus 50% damage with rifles. I've never been a rifle fan in 7 Days to Die, but this just might change my mind. So that's your first mastery that we're going to get into. I'll cover all the rest in a minute. Before we go off of Perception though, I want to talk about Treasure Hunter, because it got a very interesting overhaul. In addition to what this perk did prior, the first 2 levels get plus 50% damage to dirt and plus 100% damage to dirt respectively. That is not just when you're doing buried supplies, that is all the time. And it just continues to get better with the top tier of it adding extra weapons, armor, and rare items to buried chests. So who knows, buried supplies could be the new meta. In the Strength tree, the Heavy Armor and Master Chef perk have been moved over to the General tab. We've got a new skill called Grand Slam, which gives a percentage chance to ragdoll enemies when doing sprinting power attacks with clubs, bats, and sledgehammers. Big and Fast, which increases your attack speed with strength-based weapons, went from 3 to 5 levels. And next we have Pack Mule, which has easily gone from F tier to S tier. In addition to helping you carry more, this has become perhaps the most damage mitigating perk in the game. Each level in a Pack Mule gives you a 10% chance to absorb all damage when hit, up to essentially 50% damage mitigation at level 5. It has no impact to critical injuries like sprains or breaks, but otherwise is probably the best you're going to get for stopping damage. Next, I'm going to skip over Strength Mastery and cover Junk Miner first. This new perk is going to increase your harvesting of mining junk such as cloth and plastic. It'll give you 20% per level up to a total of 100% increase. Now let's jump back up to Strength Mastery. The first level is faster critical injury heal when holding a mining tool. Not that useful. The second one is kind of nice. It gives you an additional way to gather brass. The third level of this isn't really that usable because you're never going to use pickaxes or shovels as weapons because they don't have associated perks with them. But the 4th and 5th levels are amazing. Headshots with clubs or sledgehammers have an additional 50% chance to dismember enemies at level 4. And then finally at level 5, kills with strength-based weapons grant 50% damage resistance for 10 seconds. This combined with Pack Mule would make you an absolute juggernaut. In the Fortitude tree, Well Insulated has been completely removed. Living Off the Land is pushed over to the General tab. Lightning Hands and Rule 1 Cardio have been moved from 3 to 5 levels. There's a new perk called Siphoning Strikes, which is going to pair with the overall Brawler concept. This one will grant you 2 hit points back per melee kill per level. So at level 5, it gives you 10 hit points back per kill. In terms of Fortitude Mastery, the first level is an interesting one. Killing an enemy will instantly stop bleeding injury without using a bandage. The second one will make you immune to further infection for 2 real-world hours after recovering from an infection. Third level gives you a 10% chance to gain silver or gold from zombie kills. That's kind of an interesting one. And then the last 2 levels each give you 50 max health. In Agility, Medium Armor has been moved over to the General tab. Whirlwind and Run and Gun have been moved from 3 levels up to 5. Parkour has been moved from 4 to 5 levels. A new perk called Hard Target, and this is yet another damage mitigating perk. When moving, you're going to take 10% less damage per level up to a total of 50% less damage at level 5. Next, we have Agility Mastery, which pairs nicely. The first level of this, leg hits have a 40% chance to instantly cripple enemies. Level 2 is a 20% faster reload with handguns. This is going to be really nice for your heavy handguns like the 44 and the Vulture that have smaller magazine sizes. Next, we have Handguns Cause Bleeding. That is just going to be insane for this tree. At level 4, we have yet another damage mitigator. Every 60 seconds, you get to auto-deflect the first blow that you get hit with. Finally, at level 5, if you have a fully drawn bow shot, it will bypass enemy armor, dealing an additional 25% damage. In the Intellect tree, lockpicking has been removed and put over to the General tab. Calculated Attack has been moved from 3 up to 5 levels, and Daring Adventure from 4 up to 5. And finally, we have Intellect Mastery. which might be your best if you want to rapidly progress. The first level of this isn't that big of a deal, 20% less damage and consume 20% less fuel. The next level though, level 2 adds 25% chance to find a book, magazine, or schematic and loot. That is huge, and then you pair it with level 3, which adds 50% chance to gain 2 skill points when reading magazines. Now if we pair this with a nerd outfit, which also gives plus 50% chance to get an extra skill point, you are now guaranteed to get 2 skill points for every magazine you read. Level 4 is going to make stun batons only take 2 hits to charge, and then level 5 is stun batons are always charged. This one is going to be absolutely hilarious for just launching zombies around the map in massive crowd control. So I've noted these as we've gone through, but here's your full list of general perks. Technically light armor is new as we didn't have that in 1.0, we just had medium and heavy. You'll also notice that the general perks have retained whichever levels they had, whether it's 3, 4, or 5 levels. If you want more details on the perks, old and new, I'm going to be doing a full breakdown and tier ranking of all of them that you can see linked up above. Hey folks, it's Echo here. If you want to see all the new features in 2.0, go check out the video over here. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.